It is rare that God grants a man new ground without first going through some sort of demolition of the ground on which he walks in the present. That's been my experience anyway. There has to be something cast off before something is put on. A brutal and yet equally beautiful truth I've learned over and over and over again in my life is that something better is waiting on the other side of demolition. There is ground to be gained and shackles to be broken if first a man is willing to snap an infected rhythm, stop doing one thing and start doing a new thing. And we find ourselves stuck in patterns because patterns creep up on us. And the great hope of it all is that if something is learned, well, it can be unlearned. To see life change happen, I think a man must be willing to snap rhythms. Einstein said it this way. He said, "You cannot solve your problems using the same thinking that created them." The Apostle Paul said it even better when he used consistent language of putting on and putting off. You can see it over and over and over again in his writing. Paul is the master of the compare-contrast. Not this way, but that way. Stop this, but start this. And that sort of language is ground zero in how Paul is used by God to teach people about the power of spiritual transformation. Here's a few examples, just out of one chapter alone. Set your mind on things above, not on earthly things, Colossians 3:2. You used to walk in these ways in the life you once lived, but now you must also rid yourselves of such things, Colossians 3:7. Do not lie to each other, since you have taken off your old self with its practices and have put on the new self, Colossians 3:9. Far too often, I've focused on what I need to quit doing or what I should stop doing. And I'm learning that there is far greater power in setting my mind on what I'm getting instead of what I'm giving up. For instance, the earthly mindset says, I need to stop eating sugar so that I can lose weight. But the kingdom mindset says, I want to eat well in order to live longer so that I can do more for the kingdom of God. Are you spiritually stuck? If you're not now, you will be. Is there a recurring theme in your life these days that just isn't working for you to take you into the legacy lane that you want to build for God's glory? When you do find yourself in that place, embrace the power of disruption. How a man chooses to view disruption is paramount to experiencing God's best for what is ahead of him. There's new ground, brother, just on the other side of disruption. Being a missionary doesn't always mean going to a foreign country. You do the best work and the most consistent work right where you live, in the circle of influence that God's already given you. Plow the field you're already standing in, so to speak. Would you be willing to share the Man Minute? Maybe not with the whole world, but just think through a list of buddies or somebody that needs a text sent to them with a link. You might be surprised at just how far sowing that seed could go for an eternal harvest.